Hi everyone, today I have a couple of fun things planned. The biggest thing today is that we are going to be harvesting our hardneck garlic. Then I also have some broccoli that I want to grab. It hasn't really been liking the heat that we've been having lately. It's been 90s for the past couple days and I'm worried that it's gonna go to seed, so I'm gonna harvest it now. And I think I'm just gonna grab one head, but this is the first one that I'm harvesting this year and probably the best broccoli I've ever harvested before, so I'm really excited for it. And the last thing, which I think I'll actually start with, I'm going to show you one of our hens. I think she has started going broody, which is kind of fun and unexpected. We're new to chicken keeping, and this is the first time we've ever had a hen go broody, or so that's what we think it is. So I'm going to bring you guys over and show you what's going on. So this is where our nest boxes are, and I bet you if I open this up, she's going to be sitting right in there. So this hen has been sitting on that nest on and off for the past few days. Usually will come and close their main door at night, and she'll be sleeping in there instead of roosting like she usually is. And we kind of thought she was going broody, but then during the day she would go out and hang out with the chickens like normal. But then today she didn't go out at all. She stayed in that nest all day. So I think in the beginning she was kind of going broody, and now she's in full on broody mode. And by the way, if you don't know what broody means, it means that she is trying to hatch out chicks. Usually this happens, based on my research, in a late spring or early summer, which is when it is right now. So I think that's what's happening here. And if you noticed, when I opened up the cover, she started making kind of this agitated noise because she doesn't want to be disturbed. So, like I said, we are new to chicken keeping and we've never had a broody hen before, and we're kind of still deciding what we're going to do, but I think we're going to try and let her hatch out a couple of eggs, maybe 2 or 3. We do have a rooster, so our eggs should probably be fertile. And honestly, we had never counted on having a broody hen, especially not this year, because all of the breeds of chickens that we got, I didn't think that any of them would get broody. So she's an Americana, and they're not listed as one of the breeds that go broody often. The ones that I know of are Buff Orpington and Bantam chickens like Silkies, but I have read on some forums that people say that their Americanas do go broody. So even if technically the breed is not likely to go broody, it can still happen. So I just think this is going to be a really fun learning experience for us. Erin and I were talking and saying how this whole thing, if we do end up having baby chicks that hatch under this hen, it kind of feels like we are on a real farm, which I know we have already had chickens and we have raised chicks that we bought from a hatchery last year, but I think there's something different about seeing this go through the whole natural process and having an adult mother hen incubate the chicks underneath her, and just seeing that whole process start to finish. It's going to be something new for us. That's going to be really exciting. So the only issue right now is I was actually reading that I think we are going to have to move this hen tonight when she's sleeping to a safer location. First of all, the nest box that she's in right now is one of the most popular ones for our chickens. They like to lay in there a lot. So while she's in there, none of the other hens can go in there and lay because she's going to be there basically 24/7 for the next 3 weeks. And I feel like a lot of times we don't have enough nest boxes as it is. We technically have what is recommended for our number of hens, but a lot of times I'll come in and I'll see all 3 of them occupied, which means we're at full capacity and we cannot have one of those nest boxes not available, because then our other hens might start laying on the floor, or they might get really upset at this one hen that is sitting in this nest box and they might start pecking at her. So it could be unsafe for her as well. So tonight what we're going to do is, while she's sleeping, we're going to come in here and move her. I think we're going to use a pet carrier, and that's going to be her temporary crate or home for the next few weeks. Hopefully she'll stay in here instead of coming back to the nest. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get footage of that because it is going to be dark. We have to do it at nighttime for the best success, so that she kind of wakes up in her new spot and doesn't really realize that she moved. So we'll see how it goes. I will have to update you guys, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Something pretty fun. I'm gonna give you one last look at this chicken in the nest. Her name is Pretty Girl, by the way, just so that we can kind of see her demeanor as I open this up. Do you see how she kind of like puffs herself out like that? I think that's also a sign of broodiness. All right, I better leave. Our rooster's getting upset that I've been in here for too long. So now that I've shown you our pretty girl, I'm going to kind of go over our garlic situation and how we know it is ready to harvest. So this is all of our hardneck garlic. It's not all of our garlic because we did do about half hardneck and half softneck. And I think typically hardneck is ready to harvest earlier. So we planted this garlic, I think back in September, and right now it's the first day of June, but I don't think timing is the most reliable way to know when your garlic is ready to harvest. I like to look for the signs on the plant. So what you're looking for is that the first couple of leaves have died back and the third one is dying back right now. So here is where the first leaf was. You can see how it's like shriveled up now. Here's the second one, and here's the third one. It's yellowing and kind of shriveling up, and each of these leaves corresponds to a layer of paper that goes around the head of garlic down below. And you want a few of these leaves to be dead so that the papery coating protects the garlic. Otherwise, it's going to be a little too fresh and it's not going to store as well. So that's what I look for. And the other day we actually just went ahead and pulled up a whole head of garlic just to see how it looked. So if you're unsure, just go ahead and pull up one of your heads and take a look at it. And if it looks like a couple of those papery coatings are ready, then you're probably good to harvest your whole batch. Another way to know when your hardneck garlic specifically is ready to harvest is that a few weeks before you harvest, you'll start to see the garlic scapes forming. We have had those for the past few weeks and we have cut all of those off. Once you see those on your hardneck garlic, you'll know that you're just a few weeks away. But softneck garlic doesn't do this, so for softneck garlic, you can just look for the other signs that I just talked about. So I'm gonna hold off on harvesting this garlic just for a few minutes because Aaron requested that he be a part of that because he loves harvesting garlic. And he's at the gym right now. So while I wait for him to come back, I am gonna go harvest that broccoli that I wanted to grab. And I'm hoping that it doesn't start thunderstorming. The air feels like really heavy right now. So hopefully the skies don't open up in the next hour and we're able to harvest all this garlic. Because another thing is that it's good to harvest your garlic when it's been really dry. You don't want to harvest it after a really big rain because you run the risk of them rotting. I have also cut the water to this bed for the last few weeks so that the garlic can dry up and so that it doesn't rot. So here's a look at our garlic row. Most of these are starting to form their heads now. And this one here is actually the largest one that I'm going to be harvesting today. A lot of these smaller ones, they're still really tight. So I think these can hold on for a little bit longer before I harvest. It is going to cool off next week, so I'm hoping that these can make it through and they can grow a little bit more during the cooler weather. You can see this one's just starting to form. But here's the one that I wanted to harvest today. I've been keeping an eye on it and I noticed that today you can start to see that, I don't know what you call this part of the head, the florets, I guess. The florets look a little bit looser, and I really don't want this to go to seed because I've been waiting to harvest this broccoli, and it's the biggest one I've ever grown. This variety is called Green Magic. It is a hybrid broccoli, and it's my first time growing a hybrid broccoli, and I just think it's the way to go with how hot our late springs and summers get. Other broccoli in the past just bolts really quickly. This one has done really well and produced a nice head. It's not like the hugest head, but it's the biggest one I've ever grown, so I'm pretty proud of it. So I'm gonna cut this at the base. And there's our broccoli. Wow, how cool. So here it is. Definitely not the biggest broccoli in the world, but I am quite proud of that. I think I'm gonna grill this one up maybe tonight if the rain holds out. I'm gonna leave this plant here for now because I believe with broccoli, after you cut the main crown, sometimes they can form little side shoots from like these armpit areas and you can get like mini broccoli florets. So I'll leave this here for a little bit and see if those form and we'll get some bonus broccoli as well. It's time to harvest our garlic now, and we have had quite the exciting evening. While I was cooking dinner on the grill, Aaron noticed that there was something in our cut flower garden, and it was our neighbor's pet potbelly pig. and it had gotten out of its fence, I guess. It was just going through our driveway and started running towards the road.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, pig. No, don't touch me though.
Oh my goodness.
You should go see if it's there.
Oh my goodness. No. Oh my gosh. He's just leaving. He's leaving. And eventually they got it back. It took a little bit and it was making some crazy wailing noises. But that was definitely an unexpected adventure. I also grilled up that broccoli that I just harvested for dinner and it was so good. It was really nice and sweet. I'm really excited to harvest the rest of those because that was probably the most delicious broccoli I've ever had. The variety of garlic that we're harvesting today is called Chesnok Red, and it's one that we grew last year. And when we harvested our heads last year, we saved 6 of the biggest ones and replanted those in the fall. So this whole crop comes from garlic that we grew ourselves last year, and this is a really good way to propagate your own crop so that you don't need to buy seed garlic every year. So we'll be doing the same thing this year again. After our garlic cures, we're going to set aside a few of the largest heads to plant this fall. I really like this garlic because it has really big cloves that make it easy to cook with. And I think a lot of hardneck varieties typically have larger cloves than softneck varieties. Hardneck garlic just doesn't store as long, which is why we like to grow both so that we have something that lasts longer into the year. But last year we did finish all of our garlic pretty early on because I turned some of it into garlic powder. So I'm not going to be doing that this year, I don't think, and I want to see how long our garlic can last in storage. We finished harvesting all of the Chesnok Red garlic over here. We still have a few more hardneck garlic plants, but this is a different variety. I don't know what it is. It was something mislabeled when we bought last year and I replanted it. Those, you can tell that they still need a little bit more time. I did dig one up by accident and it was a little bit smaller, so they're still growing. And you can see here using the leaf test, you can see on this plant, one leaf died and fell off, and the second leaf is dying now, but it hasn't like shriveled up like the other ones have. And then this is the third one, which is still looking nice and healthy. So these ones still need a little bit more time, maybe a few more weeks before we harvest these. So here is our final harvest from today. We ended up with 59 heads that we harvested today, but I did pick that one the other day, so that's a nice even 60 heads, and this all came from 6 heads of garlic last year. And I would say 90% of these heads were a really nice big size. We had just a couple that were a little on the smaller side. These were probably grown from smaller cloves. But all in all, I'm really happy with that. We keep all of the tops on after we harvest and we let them cure in our greenhouse for a few weeks before we clean anything up and bring it into the house. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and we'll see you again in the next one.